I want you to listen to this.
Control Petro 41 into block 22 to 240. Petro 41, Sevilla Control, radar contact, confirm flight level 220 is okay for you? Negative, sir. We are 4 aircraft which is a block altitude 22, block 240. Petro 41, roger, from 220 to 240, roger. Sir.
This is a sound clip of a conversation between a flight of B-2s coming back from Iran and the air traffic control of Seville in Spain. But the strange thing is that this clip is coming from China. Hi, I'm Gus. Welcome to Millennium 7. A Chinese technology company on the 10th of March 2026 claimed that they could follow the route of 4 B-2s, call signs Pedro 41 to Pedro 44, and these aircraft were coming back from a mission over Iran in the second day of the Operation Epic Fury. In this video, I would like to show you how I came to believe that this claim is indeed authentic, how it was reported very badly, and why this is only the tip of the iceberg of a category of systems that are revolutionizing modern air power. Hangzhou Jingan Technology Company Limited was founded in 2021 by Xi Qiaomu in Hangzhou, China, obviously. Forbes China included this gentleman in the list of the 30 under 30, so he is a character kept in high regard by those in the know. He could recruit veterans from Alibaba and other Chinese technology majors in this new venture, which, by the way, has just won a few days ago a series of prestigious industry awards, and Xi Qiaomu himself has won the award as the Entrepreneur of the Year in his province. When Jingan Tech was founded, the idea was to transfer the most cutting-edge commercial technologies to security and defense. This sounds complicated and vague, but it addresses a fundamental issue in a large organization like a military force. Make sure that everyone has all the information that is needed, because the type and quantity of information that can be processed by AI in a serious application is impressive. It won't be free of errors, and some of them, in the context of an air campaign, well, they really may be tragic. And understanding why AI is prone to errors and hallucinations is a complex subject, and I'm not sure I'm the best person to explain it. As it is now, it still requires human supervision, and this won't get better in the near future. Nonetheless, in any case, you still want that kind of processing power. Let's make the case of a message, the old-fashioned so-called human intelligence. Let's say that there is a civilian collaborator who quietly drives by an opponent's airbase and notices several aircraft parked there. He keeps driving, and while at the wheel, he makes a phone call, exchanging few perfectly innocent words. This is a code, obviously, that informs the friendly forces that the aircraft parked there are targets. This snippet of information carries the opportunity to inflict a heavy damage to the opponent, but its path to the people who could use it is massively complex. In the traditional world, let's say in the late 90s, early 20s, at the receiving end might be a group of people whose only job is to pass on the message several times till it reaches someone with a SATCOM system who encrypts the message and transmits it to a communication node. At the node, it is formatted in a written telegram that is forwarded to all those who may be interested. At the receiving end, there must be someone who is involved in the targeting process, who reads the message, thinks it is interesting, and proposes it as a candidate target. The details of how this process is conducted in US Armed Forces and at the NATO level is available in doctrinal publications. It is in the public domain, and it is fascinating, but it is extremely dry, so I won't go into the details. What matters though is that 30 or even 20 years ago, most of the information would have stayed on paper, either physical paper or electronic equivalent like PDFs, documents, pictures, and so on. And consequently, there would have been a small army of analysts sifting through all this information. Considering the quantity of information and messages being processed even in a small operation, it is certain that the people involved will make mistakes or omissions despite their best efforts. Furthermore, they need time to go through the process, and time may be critical. Those airplanes that the informer has seen and risked his safety, his personal safety to report, may move in few hours, and the effort will have been in vain. I know that some among you won't believe that this description is true. Some believe that the commanders are in full knowledge all the time. Well, this happens in video games, not in real life. In real life, this is a massive problem. So Jingan Tech idea is to bring cutting-edge civilian technologies in the defense environment to solve this problem. So what does this mean? Well, in the modern world, people communicate. Snippets of information are freely available on the internet. We, well, not myself personally, but many people post everything about their life on X, TikTok, or on Instagram, or whatever, and the amount of information that can be derived from there and other outlets is really difficult to understate. They are leaking information all the time. The schoolboy in Missouri that posts a short video of B-2s flying over his head has just dropped a piece of information of military relevance, probably without knowing. The US actively used this effect for deception during the Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025 when attacking the Iranian nuclear installations. 6 B-2s were sent east towards the Pacific Ocean with no particular secrecy, and that was the deception. And at the same time, the actual strike package flew west over the Atlantic and attacked directly from the United States. Another example, a Pentagon employee that orders pizzas for all the team because they're working late has just created an information point that can be tracked. There is indeed a Pentagon Pizza Index that is quite accurate in reporting anomalous activity. When the pizza outlets around the Pentagon record a spike of orders at night, it means that something isn't brewing. And today, you don't even have to be there. You can learn that this is happening just by looking at the Google Busy Index. Another example are the images that appear on Russian social media posted by Russian citizens of the Ukrainian attacks deep in Russian territory. These provide Ukrainians with an easy way to assess the damage. They don't need a reconnaissance mission. They know that they hit or missed just by those pictures. And by the way, this is the reason why the Ukrainian government has imposed a draconian discipline about posting online anything that is not damage to residential buildings. So obviously, trolling the internet for interesting fragments of information is a task that is order of magnitudes larger even than the one we described before. It is not something that can be done by humans by hand. And here is Shikyomu idea. Build a system that can collect and merge data from the social media and other sources like website, reporting aircraft and ship movements, or just publicly available information like satellite images, news outlets, basically anything. If you are not an IT professional, it is probably not that easy to appreciate how difficult this job is. There is an enormous amount of information to go through. There is a smaller but still enormous amount of information detected as a candidate But most of all, the information is not homogeneous. You have text, you have images of different types, you have videos, you have transcripts, but also you have, for example, text written into the pictures or appearing into the videos. You have to interpret and tag all these different forms of content to be able to index it and make it searchable, usable. A computer can't watch a video for you, but this is a job that AI can do. The technology to recognize text, make transcripts, or identify objects in a video has been around for quite a long time. In the last few years, though, what we generally call AI has reached a scale that is unprecedented. With enough processing power, and today this processing power does exist, it can be up to the task. It is not perfect, we all know it, but without it, the battle would be lost before starting. Furthermore, it is easy for a human to identify connections between pieces of information. We read an article about, for example, protests in Washington, then we see photos, we see videos, and yeah, we associate them to a specific place, a specific time, and specific circumstances. We naturally get the context. A computer doesn't. The only way to automate this association task is again with AI, because procedural algorithms would do a poor job. I actually had a personal experience of classic procedural algorithm trying to do something like this, contextualize different types of information, and I can't tell you what it was, but they really struggle. Jingan Tech created a system called Jinki, which is defined as a global situational awareness system. It processes massive data sets to track aircraft, ships, satellites, and predict events across global hotspots. From the screenshots that we have and the descriptions that we have, it seems that it tracks a lot of information and displays this information on maps, but it also builds deep information trees behind high-level piece of news. From the text we see, we can infer that the system also makes predictions about the likelihood of an event happening, and it creates indexes about the stability of a situation or the level of danger associated with it. And I believe that it is working at least to an acceptable degree, because the PLA has adopted the system. And this takes us to the news that resonated on Western media. The Chinese claimed of having intercepted the B-2s coming back from Iran. Said in this way, it is fake news. Jingan Tech never claimed anything like this. The precious B-2 stealth is still safe, at least for the moment. What they claimed is that the Jinki system reconstructed the B-2's journey back to the US by the hints that appeared on the internet. The system used social media posts, aircraft tracking sites, and other pieces of information derived from air traffic control recordings and tanker operations. It wasn't real-time information because the system required processing time, so it is not an option for tactical operations, but it is still an outstanding result. Some news outlets mentioned that an ex-account had posted the same audio fragment the day before, so it was just a sort of information freeloading. Well, no, that was entirely the point. Extracting that specific post from a sea of posts automatically and correlating it to other information is exactly what the system does. And the noteworthy element is that information, which in principle should be secret, is now leaking on the internet, and with a structured approach like this, it can be taken advantage of. This is the digital background noise produced by our civilization. It contains information. Stopping it would mean stopping the civilization itself. The Chinese are simply taking advantage of this. And for those who feel offended by the thought that the Chinese can be technologically very advanced, Palantir provides to the US Armed Forces a software that works much in the same way, but it is positioned to manage the tactical and operational side. It deserves its own video, and we will cover it one day if you're interested. So, there you have it. This is how the B2s were tracked by the Chinese.
播报新闻是我的日常，必须时刻保持妆容和皮肤的最佳状态。当来到人生中最重要的时刻，也是 KS 逆时奇迹帮助我轻松驾驭，闪闪发光。KS 逆时奇迹活肤露全效精华、精华霜，多达5种 EGF 6大冻龄关键成分，保湿效果让我非常满意，小细纹也不再困扰我。我就是我自己的最佳女主角 ，KS 让我从容自信，光彩动人。我是我人生中的大女主，我的最爱我做主。KS 逆时奇迹系列热卖中，下单请上快点购，透过中天新闻网 App 下单立减50，或输入 CTI 推荐码有额外折扣。